Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And a hearty shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and one third. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households. And may you also be exhilarated and happy in the spirit, because Lord willing, we're going home soon. Okay? We've got a lot to look forward to. All right? And we are, as Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians, and those that are of the 12 tribe lineage paternally, pursuant to Numbers 118, on your father's side, no matter where you're scattered to the four corners of the earth, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. All right, from one end of the earth to the other. Okay, we are the elect, that is. The Israelites are chosen collectively, but on this side, before we get into the kingdom, the elect are chosen, right? We were never meant to be comfortable in a heathenistic rulership ruled by heathens, having a heathen rule over us. Okay? And this captivity, right, where Judah and Israel were both captive together, northern and southern kingdom, this, which is this, the Latinos and the so-called Negroes and Native Indians, etc., these were training grounds. The same way your earthly father, right? You do something wrong, will give you licks, right? Would give you punishment, right? Or you do something wrong, your mother would threaten you, during the day. Oh, wait till your dad gets home. And all day, you'd be worried. And as soon as he comes home, what I used to do, I used to go in the back garden and stay there. So if if he was going to beat me, he wouldn't do it outside, because I'd be crying and the neighbors would hear. But my dad would do it anyway. He beat my ass, but he's my dad, and that's his right to do so. As every father should, whoop their children in a sensible way, of course, because you don't want to hurt your children on a permanent fashion. You don't want to hurt your children permanently, right? Okay, so when you do something wrong, you learn from your mistakes, and your earthly father would punish you and reprimand you so you don't do it again. Now, from a heavenly perspective, our Father in heaven, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai, our king, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, the Most High, his son, our king, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was sacrificed to redeem the elect, not the whole world, the elect, okay? Because we have a culture, a religion where, we do burnt sacrifices or sacrifices for things that we have done wrong, right? And Yahweh Shai was the ultimate sacrifice to redeem the elect of Israel. Okay? Yahweh Shai is our interceder. And by the way, sideline note, and those of you that disrespect Yahweh Shai, saying that there's only the Most High, you crazy Yah Israelites and all that, you're gonna get yours, man. You're disrespecting Yahweh Shai. You're making fun of the name. All right, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai. The Lord gonna deal with you. All right, just a sideline note, but nevertheless, Yahweh Shai was sacrificed to redeem the elect. So therefore, as an earthly father would punish us, all right, the Most High, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai, punished us in this kingdom. All right, hence a reason, you have to work harder, twice as hard, compared to your heathen counterparts that are in positions. They get moved up the ladder faster. They get, if you look at some of them, sometimes they get like an easy ride, so to speak. But we can see right now, okay, through the spirit, that these heathens are falling. Lord, these curses are coming on these devils, man. For crimes they committed 50, 60 years ago, they're getting caught up now, DNA evidence. Edomites are deleting each other. The Edomites are deleting their whole children, their wives. Wives are getting drunk, running over their Edomite husbands, and all sorts of ish. It's like they're hunky dory, happy, uh, happy, clean neighborhoods. If you see that movie, The Burbs, from 1988, I believe it's from 89 with Tom Hanks. Watch that movie. I believe it was on YouTube. One of my favorite movies. Okay, uh, it's an 80s classic, right? Um, Look at the neighborhood. Esau's neighborhoods aren't so happy and hunky dory anymore, where everything's just perfect. Okay, um, so these curses are coming on these devils, man. All right, and our punishment, um, which Yahweh Shemashai gave us, is accomplished and is coming to an end. All right, because remember, this captivity that we're in is supposed to be a learning experience, learning good from evil, learning from your mistakes, asking the Lord for forgiveness of past mistakes, and asking for forgiveness on a daily basis, and also each day trying to do better and better and better, okay? And try and pray more and be focused more, because we are at the end, man, okay? All right? If you are a Hope for Elect member, you should not be in the mind frame of like, I'm gonna go to a club, man, Friday night. If there's a club still open these days, you know, you shouldn't be in that mindset. Now, there's nothing wrong with going out, but I would suggest not to go to a club or any place where there's a large venue where this so-called a famous person could be performing, especially a Gen Z person. You don't know what Esau Edom going to do in terms of his sacrifice shit. All right, a whole bunch of they're planning to do a whole lot of things. All right, so I would suggest you stay away from that. But this was a training grounds for us. All right, a learning experience, so we don't go off again. So when we're in the kingdom, we appreciated our punishment from Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. We've learned from it, and now we're enjoying all that we were supposed to have in the beginning. But nevertheless, it was beautiful that we went through this experience, because we're going to really, really, really appreciate the kingdom. Okay? And as we are approaching the end, trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai is very, very, very important. The reason why I got this image here, all right, the Godfather. Now we know Sicilians, Southern Italians, for the most part, a good portion of Italy, from my perspective, this is me saying it, I would say at least 60 to 70% of all Italy is at least Jake. Definitely more than 50%, whether it's Northern Italy or Southern Italy. Yeah, Southern Italy was conquered by Jake, and they did their business with the ladies, and hence the reason why you got a lot of Italians that can pass for Puerto Ricans, or they got some of them got that wavy kinky hair and the big lips, the wide noses, but they swear they're so-called white people, right? Well, that's the curses anyway of hatred amongst the tribes, Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. But nevertheless, these guys, what the characters are Jake, all right? And if you look at the image here, the Godfather, right? The Lord controls us, okay? We are clay. The Lord made us in a wonderful fashion. The Lord controls us. Proverbs 20:24. Man's goings are of the Lord, then how can a man understand his own way? Okay? And then if you do right and you do for the Lord will do for you. Okay? Doesn't mean that everything's going to be hunky-dory. Everything's going to be hunky-dory and perfect in the kingdom. But until we get there, you're going to go through your trials and tribulations. But the Lord's going to put enough on you, not to delete you or to really crush you or your spirit, but to actually provide you also a way to get out of that situation also. Okay, if your back is against a wall, the Lord is going to open a door when your back is against a wall. You're going to see that light and you're going to walk through it and say, Tawari Yahweh Bashim Hashai for getting me out of that situation. Okay? All right? I've loosely paraphrased some scriptures there. I'm loosely paraphrasing them because I don't want to lose my train of thought, because that happens a lot. Right? Let's go to some scriptures about trust. Let's go to the lovely book of Psalms, man. Psalms. Psalms 118. What did I say? Go to the good old King James Version. Uh, what was it? Psalms 18. Psalms 18. No, 118. 118 verse 8. I typed in 18. 118. Man, sometimes when you go like, because the Bible is so new to me, when you go through the scriptures, every answer, every question is answered, man, in the scriptures. Anyway, Psalms 118, verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, than to put confidence in man. Okay? Then let's go to verse 9 here as well. It is better to trust in the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, than to put confidence in princes. You got like crazy Jake women saying, "Oh, help Trump, help us, Trump, help us." Trump is like one of the kings or princes of this world, right? On the left hand side, okay, right? But they don't want to trust in the Lord. You know, that's some of our people for you, man. Boy. So it is better to trust in the Lord. Okay. Actually, let's go to Psalms 118, verse 5. I called upon the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, in distress. The Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, answered me and set me in a large place. Verse 6. The Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai, is on my side, and I will not fear. What can man do unto me? Because the Lord is only going to allow the Lord. Listen, if you're part of the Lord's sheep and the Lord is giving you these spiritual nuggets every day, be it spiritual numbers, uh, certain verses of the day, your questions in your mind, and the Lord answers it through one of the prophets of Great Millstone. You get, you see the angels, you see rainbows. I've seen lots of rainbows in the last year and a half or so. You know, the Lord's making your spirit grow. Okay, and you've had visions of spiritual power. The Lord is giving you that, not letting you saying to you in a dream, "Oh, you are one of the elect." Don't worry. On May the 21st at 5:55 p.m., you will be beamed up into the chariot. The Lord ain't going to do that. Yahweh Hashem ain't going to do that. But the Lord is going to wants you to keep the faith. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You know, you don't want to be like Bernie Mac. Like one of his skits, he said, "Oh, I believe it when I see it." You don't want to be like a believe it when I see it kind of Jake. You want to be having faith in the Lord. What did the Lord Yahweh Shai say? Yahweh Shai, His Majesty said, if you got faith as a grain of as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. You can do things. All right. So we're gonna trust in the Lord, and if man can't do nothing to you. If you're part of the Lord's sheep, the Lord ain't gonna put you in a position where you won't be able to deal with it. The Lord won't put you in a position where you won't be able to get out of it. Out of a major situation. The Lord's testing you. That's why each day you're going through things and you get through it. You're going through things, you get through it. Sometimes it's extremely stressful, sometimes they're a little bit stressful. Various levels of stress levels being hit in your body. But the Spirit keeps you going. It keeps you healthy. All right? Why? To build you up for what is yet to come on this earth. All right? To build you up what's to come on this earth. Let me see, did I read all of it? The Lord is on my side, I will not fear. What can man do unto me? The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me. People that hate us, we're gonna, the Lord is gonna take care of that, man. All right. You could have people hating you at work, right? They're trying to like trip you up, set up a trap or a snare. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai is gonna put them in a trap and a snare. So you don't worry about it. All right, loosely paraphrasing scripture, cast your burdens upon the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. He shall not suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? You're not going to be put into a major predicament to do something wrong to get out of a situation which is going to put you in further jeopardy. The Lord is going to provide you an easy, smooth transition into a situation. And then, the Lord's going to provide an easy, smooth transition out of a bad situation. And Lord willing, you get out unscathed. Verse 8, it is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai than to put confidence in man. Okay? Absolutely correct. Brakti Havashimashai. Um, bear with me. I'm just gonna get some scriptures out. Let's go to Psalms 112, verse 7. Psalms 112. Excuse me, I'm clearing my throat. I've just been, a little bit, as they say, under the weather. The Brakti Havashimashai. I'm a little bit better than yesterday. One second, I'm gonna clear my throat again. And every time I make a video, too. Okay. Psalms 112. Yeah. Psalms 112, verse 7. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai. Verse 8. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. Okay? All right. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai. Okay. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. Okay. You know what I was just thinking right now? It just came to my mind. The way Jake talks in America, you know, even with the slang and what they called the eubonics, is definitely in the scriptures, man. You can see it when you read some of the words here. It comes across, you know. And you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. All right. So we're not going to be afraid of these evil things Esau Edom going to do. And even if you have to die for this truth. All right. I know it's easier said than done. I understand that. All right. But what you got to understand is if your head is chopped off for this truth, and you're still praising Yahweh Bashim Nashai, and you're confirming, saying, hey, I believe in Yahweh Bashim Nashai. I'm not going to go, contrary, or I'm not going to go against the Lord, you know? And if your head is chopped off, do you actually think the Lord Yahweh Shai will let you feel the pain of all your nerve endings and your veins and your head and flesh being cut off with a sharp blade that could weigh damn near 70, 80 pounds? Right? I don't know what a guillotine blade weighs. I'm just saying a number, but it's got to be heavy, right? It's got to cut through flesh and bone, right? Or 100 pounds or 120 pounds or 150 pounds or 200 pounds with a sharp blade, you know? Sharpened by Gillette, probably. I don't know. Right? You think the Lord's going to let you feel that? You'll probably feel like a feather tickling your neck. You probably won't feel the pain. You'll probably just see a flash of light, and you'll be standing with the angels, and you'll be looking up. Yahweh will be there. You know, you know, and then you'll come down. When the rest of the elect are beamed up in the chariots, you'll be with the Lord, man. Coming down like a bride adorned for a husband. With the new bodies. I know it's easier said than done. But remember, this whole process of being in this captivity is a test. All right. Every spiritual power movie, every movie with some kind of person that gets power, starts flying and running fast, and whatever it could be, whatever character, even Superman, they've got to go through their trials and tribulations. Superman, he had to leave his kingdom. His parents were killed off. They died or whatever. Right. He was raised. He was like the oddball in high school. He wasn't getting the women. People bullied him, even though he wanted to beat the hell out of them, but he couldn't do it because he'd probably delete them, right? He was like the water boy. If you've seen the movie The Water Boy, like Adam Sandler, he was like the water boy, so he had to play as Clark Kent, right? So he didn't really have a great upbringing. He didn't have a great high school life where he's getting laid all the time and driving nice cars and being the captain of the football team or whatever. I don't know, right? He wasn't. It wasn't like that for him, like it was for the regular, people in the show, in the movie or whatever, right? He had to go through his conditions. He had to go through his conditions of the battle. He had to go through his process of being refined. And then in the end, what happened? He gets that power, right? He gets that power. Okay. Now, even though that's a movie, in reality, the elect are going through their things, and they're going to get power too when that change comes. And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Mashai, you hope for elect members. The Lord is, is showing you signs. Okay. That's hope. The whole part of it. It's called, like that game. I don't know if you had that game in America. We had it here in the UK. It's called Give Us a Clue. The game was called Give Us a Clue. And the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is giving us plenty of clues, man. All right. And you should not be perplexed or in a situation of thinking, is the Lord with me or not? Okay. You should be confirmed. If you got the name of Yahweh Hashem Yashai, all right, and you sincerely believe and love the Lord and you want to do better, and I hate to use the term wish, but I'm just using this word so everybody understands. You wish that you could do better. So you know what I mean? You really want to, and you are trying and you're doing. Hey man, the Lord is with you, man. All right? Because the elect are going to call upon the name, loosely paraphrasing a scripture. They're not going to call upon Most High Christ bless or Yah and Yeshua. They're going to call on Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Korash. Okay? Did I read one? Okay, I did read Psalm 118, verse 6. Let's go to Psalm 118, verse 14. Where is it? Psalms 118, verse 14. Should be the next one here. Should be, yeah. It's from here. Let's get it from here. All right. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Ashai is my strength and song, and is become my salvation. Okay? Trust in the Lord Yahweh Hashem Ashai. He shall not suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay? Trust in the Lord, man. Okay? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not into thy own understanding. All right? Let the Lord lead the way. All right? You are not meant to have everything perfect from this side. If everything was perfect, what the hell have you learned in this captivity? You are coming to this captivity as a hopeful elect member to be a basketball player, to be an American football player or American football player, or to be a soccer star, right? Or to be a track star, right? Or to be a rapper or an R&B singer, then throwing up the goat, being a slave to these damn devils for a few trinkets, all right? And you go back to your mansion with palm trees and swimming pools, and afterwards some call comes from some Amalekite Edomite saying, oh, you have to come here. Mr. Goldenstein wants to, fiddle with your booty, or you got to drink some BLOOD or whatever, Is that what you're doing it for? Okay? Those are 2/3 I'm talking about, by the way, and unelect Jakes. But you elect are not here for that. All right? Earn your daily bread, keep it moving. All right? This whole captivity is a learning experience. Let me just go to one. Another scripture. It's called, which one is it again? Punishment is accomplished. Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. Okay, this is our final one, and there's not going to be another heathen ruling over us ever again. No one's going to hurt our loved ones ever again. No one's going to grape our wives or concubines ever again. No one's going to grape our daughters, you know. And, as horrible as it sounds, grape your sons, okay? All right, because that's what Esau, Edom, and heathens do. All right, no one's going to do none of that. Okay, no one's going to lynch you anymore. Okay, because our punishment is accomplished. But remember one thing: we still have to go through the last 100 meters of this marathon. So it's going to get gruesome out here, and the 2/3 are going to get got in the ways that I've just mentioned. But you elect and the unelect Jakes around the world, they're going to get that way. They're going to be got as well in some horrible, gruesome ways: starvation, cannibalism. You know, their eyes could be open, they're partially alive, and coyotes are eating their guts out, and pit bulls and all that shit. We don't know. It's going to get horrible out here, okay? But you Israelites are going to see that firsthand, but you're going to be untouched. You're going to have that glow around you, that protection of Yahweh Bashim Rashai. Psalms 34, verse 7. Okay? The Lord, the angels of Yahweh Bashim Rashai encampeth around about the elect, man, and delivers them out of situation, delivers the elect out of situations. Okay? Loosely paraphrasing. All right? Now, let me just read this again. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. We're not going to go into slave ships ever again or be scattered to the four corners of the earth, not knowing who we are, then wake up generations later like I did. Oh, the Bible is out. I'm an Israelite. You know? It's not going to be like that. This is it. We just have to go through the last few seconds of this race, man, before we hit the finishing line. Now, let's read the next bit. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. That's why this skirt's being lifted up, this devil, man. All their sins, all everything's being shown that they're not the Most High. They're not Yahweh Shai. They're not King David. You know, that faggot Richard Gere is not King David with his clean-shaven, bald face. All right? Okay? They're not Robin Hood. They're not, who's the other one? The Lone Ranger. All right? You're not Superman. All right? Kal-El is a Hebrew name. The real Supermen are Israelites. Okay? Ain't going to be no pigskin devil flying around with a cape or with a mantle. Okay? That's not going to happen. Now, if a Jake who looks that way might get power because he's an elect member, okay, he is an Israelite. Okay? But when he is changed, the great change comes, okay, we'll get his tribal look back. Now, if he's a Judite and he's got blonde hair and blue eyes, he'll get his look back in the kingdom once he's changed. Okay? But I'm talking about, because a lot of Jake are going to need power on this side because we have to go against, marauders and soldiers and troops and foreign troops and robotoids and robot dogs and cyborgs and laser beams, weaponry, bullets with, that are like miniature missiles. I don't know. I'm not a weapons expert, right? That's Esau's blessing. But they're going to come with stuff like that, all right? He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Now it's your turn, devil. You Edomites. It's time of your downfall. That's why even through your looking glass, or what's it called again? Looking glass. What was it the elites are using? Elites. Project Looking Glass. Okay. Digital ID. Did elites use Looking Glass and see future? Elites downfall aligned with Project Looking Glass. Okay. That's why they show you in their movies. Revelation of the Method. Mirror, mirror on the wall. All that shit. Looking in the mirror to see the future. The crystal ball and all that. To see the future. Esau Edom has technology like that on the left-hand side. But it all comes back to square one where they are all going into slavery. They cannot, it's not going to be like, like Back to the Future. Is it part 2? Yeah, part 2, where there's an alternate 1985 and Marty McFly goes back and it's like, he goes back to his neighborhood and it's like a Jake family living there and it's all effed up. Okay? All right? There's not going to be no chance for you Edomites to go back to your lovely neighborhoods and you living above Jake and telling Jake what to do. Ain't gonna be like that. I know you want that, but ain't gonna go like that. All right. There is no alternate route. All routes go back to slavery. Esau, Edom. All routes go back to slavery. You are going into slavery next. Esau, Edom, and all you non-Israelite nations. You have 1,000 years of hardcore slavery to endure. Time is going fast now, but in the kingdom, time is going to be extremely, 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 extremely slow. Okay? All right? Extremely slow. And you're going to get it. All right? So, after all this, what I'm trying to say is that, okay, trust in the Lord. All right? And don't worry about nothing. I know it's easier said than done. You wake up, oh, what if, what if, what if? Hey, why do you keep worrying about it? If you are part of the Lord's sheep, the Lord is always going to get you out of that situation. Don't worry about the small things. We got bigger fish to fry. That's why the Lord is building you up. All right? Going through the little situations that you go through every day. So you can be ready. Just like you lift weights. You do a warm-up set to do the what? To deal with the bigger shit. The same with these problems that we go through. To build us up spiritually. All right, I'm gonna leave it there now. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash, Mawathabad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.